online so much of the time now. It can feel really frustrating. If you're a musician, you are used to playing in person. You're used to teaching in person. You're used to just connecting with people in the same room or in a concert hall where you can feel that energy, right? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. You can't have that. And so what are you going to do? You have to be online. There is no choice right now. I mean, sure, there are some live performances going on, and some people are really lucky. And depending on where you are in the world, you may have more or less of an experience where you live with not being able to be in person with people. But I think in most places, it's just not happening. So we've got to make the best of it, and that's what this video is about. I want you to actually enjoy being online. I'm here online now connecting with you, and I actually really do enjoy this. So I want to teach you how, because I used to actually hate being online, believe it or not. I even resisted email, for goodness sake. So if you haven't met me yet, our worlds haven't connected yet, here we are. I want to introduce myself very briefly. I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí. I am a professional violinist, as you see my violin back there, and I am also especially a coach for musicians. I'm a certified Alexander technique teacher, and I bring a whole host of mind, body, spirit background from my whole life, actually, into my coaching for professional musicians. And I also help all kinds of musicians in my group programs. So that's me. If you want to learn more about that, just go to my Art of Freedom website. It's artoffreedom.me. And I want to say hello to people showing up. I see somebody here, and I apologize that I can't see your names right now. I'll probably see them later. And I promise I'm going to comment and say hello to everybody personally after this video is over. But somebody here is saying my daughter is suffering so much from lack of personal contact. Oh, yeah, it's just really, really hard. So that's what I want to talk about. We can't be in person mostly. We have to be online. So let's learn to make the best of it. And I've got some tips for you. Stay on to the end. Make sure you stay on. I'm not going to talk very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes, something like that. But make sure you stay to the end, because I'm going to give you a bonus of 5 super practical tips for how to use the computer in a way that is actually not harmful. And in fact, helpful to your mental and emotional and physical health. So that's those 5 tips at the end. Make sure you stay. So again, my specialty is to help musicians to really enjoy their lives. So I want you to enjoy it on the computer if you can't be in person. And I want you to be able to have an abundantly successful career even during COVID. It is actually possible. And I want you to be healthy and happy in mind, body, and spirit, even during this pandemic, which is no fun, right? Okay, so let's dig in. Usually, we think of the computer or the technology as this thing over there that we have to use, but it's really not good for us. Can you relate to that? All of us have to be online. We have our smartphones, we have our iPads. Well, actually, I don't have an iPad, but most people seem to have iPads around me. We have our laptops, our desktops, we have televisions, we have so many screens in our lives. And we feel like we have to use them. And, we use them for Netflix and things that we don't have to do too. But the fact is, we end up in front of screens a lot of the day. And we start to think that it's the screens that are the enemy because we feel worse after we're in front of them for a while. Can you relate to that? I would love to hear from you. I'm seeing some Facebook users here saying hello and hi. Hello, hello. Also, I'm on YouTube, so I will see people commenting on YouTube right now too, which is kind of a new adventure for me to be simulcasting on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you are on YouTube, please send me a comment just so that I know this is working. Okay, and I really, really want to connect with everybody who's here. So do drop a hello and comment on what I'm saying. If you can relate to what I'm saying, I would love to hear about your experience too. So The first thing I want to address is that the technology is not the enemy. It isn't. It's just a tool. Just like if you have a bad practice day, your poor violin or your trumpet or your piano or your recorder is not your enemy. I actually had a trumpet student once who said that her trumpet hated her. That's not true, okay? Your musical instrument doesn't hate you. Your body doesn't hate you. Your computer doesn't hate you. Technology is not the enemy. However, it can really feel like that because human beings have not evolved to the point where we know how to use technology in a way that is actually healthy. And I promise, from personal experience, I've been teaching online now since I think 2013 and exclusively online for more than 2 years by choice. I was doing this all online long before the pandemic hit. So I have actually chosen to use the internet as my medium for most of my communication. So I did that because I know how to use it in a way that actually helps me in my life in many areas. In fact, every area of my life. I teach something called the Art of Freedom method for conscious living and masterful artistry. The Art of Freedom method has 5 pillars, and I want to use these pillars to talk about how you can actually feel better after getting up from the computer than you felt before. What a mind-boggling thought, right? Is that even possible that you could feel better after being online for hours during the day, teaching or performing or whatever you have to do on the computer? It's possible. I know it is because I do it every single day. My pillars, the Art of Freedom pillars, are purpose, mind, body, spirit, and artistry. So the very first thing I want to address is the first pillar, which is your purpose. If you just get online mindlessly, or you check your phone first thing you wake up in the morning and you haven't even had a chance to really wake up and consider why you're here on this earth and whether you want to get up or not. So you haven't even had a chance to bring yourself back from the dreamland that you were in, and suddenly you're sucked into your phone. And yes, technology, the way corporations are using technology these days, that is not necessarily benign. I am the first one to admit that they are admitting it. There's a movie documentary out there called The Social Dilemma. If you haven't found that yet, it's a must watch if you want to understand what's going on with technology and corporations. So again, it's not the technology's fault. It's corporations who want to hook your attention and grab you and keep you on the screen. And all of that is for making money. Okay. That doesn't mean you have to buy into that, especially if you're more conscious and aware of what is happening. And even more importantly, what's happening to you as you are engaging with the media. I need to say that again. The technology, the instruments, the trumpet, your body is an instrument. None of these things are your enemy. Nobody has a bad back, for instance. Your back is not your enemy. Your knees are not your enemy. It's how you use yourself in any given activity that makes all the difference in the world to your experience and your success. It's how you use your mind, body, self in the moment. And it's about how conscious you are in the moment. Like right now, I'm talking about it and I'm noticing so much going on in my body. It's like I'm waking up. I don't know if you can tell this, but it's like I'm actually getting goosebumps. That's how much I'm enjoying this experience right now because I know how, from many years of practice of the Alexander technique and my own personal meditative spiritual practices, and in the last 5 years, something called Primal Alexander, which is an amazing, wonderful, wonderful, fantastic, original way to practice and learn the Alexander technique without using the hands, so we can do it online. Primal Alexander is a system created by Mio Morales, and I've been learning this for almost 5 years now. And it's about how to take care of yourself and be fully conscious and alive and vibrant and loving what you're doing, no matter what it is. So if I can do that when I play the violin, which I do every day, or, I don't practice every day, but most days when I practice, I am super efficient, super present, very, very intentional with the time that I have, because I want to use it well. I want to make the most of the time that I have on this earth. So if I'm going to practice that violin, you bet I want to make the best of that time that I have. If I'm going to be on the computer, I want to make the best of that time. And the way to do that is really connect with my purpose. I have to know what I'm doing and why. Why do I want to do it? If you're a musician, you're an educator, you're a performer, you have to connect with why you're doing that in the first place. Otherwise, you're not really going to accept that you have to do this online now. And then the computer becomes the enemy again. But if you're so aligned throughout the day, from the moment you wake up, before you turn on the phone, right? If you can connect to your purpose, your will, your desire, your passion, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, then you're going to be so grateful that you have technology to do it now. Which brings us to the second pillar of the Art of Freedom method, which is your mind. You've got to take care of your mindset. The computer is not the enemy. It is your helper, your tool, your friend. It's there at your disposal to use as you wish. So, are you going to learn how to use it well? Are you going to pay attention to what you're doing as you're doing it, so you don't get sucked into the computer and get back pain and neck pain and stressed out because your eyes are strained and you're glued to the computer? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be connected to your purpose. You're going to change your attitude and your mindset. This is something that I go deeply into with my Art of Freedom coaching clients, and I have a program called the Musician's Advantage, which is a comprehensive program that goes into depth to help musicians create the kind of life that they want in mind, body, spirit, and with an abundantly successful career. So then there's your body. Yes, your eyes get strained, right? Does anybody out there feel eye strain at the computer? Yeah, well, guess what? It's not the computer's fault. And it's not really your fault too, because how are you supposed to know how to use your eyes at a computer? Did anybody teach you how to use your eyes at the computer? Probably not. This is something that I teach my group students, my private coaching clients all the time. It's possible to sit at a computer and let your eyes be lively and free and not feel strained. Do you know how to sit in a way that's aligned and balanced so that you don't get all the neck pain and back pain? Do you know how to be free and spontaneous in your body so that you have your energy awake and alive and moving even while you're sitting at a computer for hours a day? Can you be in a rehearsal for 4 hours without back pain or neck pain? Most musicians can't, and they end up with a lot of pain. This is what I help my musicians to not do. And if they're in pain, I help them out of pain. I help them overcome injury, prevent injury, and actually feel alive and vibrant and healthy so that they have more endurance, whether it's in a long rehearsal or sitting in front of a computer screen. It doesn't matter what the activity is. If you are connected to your joy and your vibrant energy inside, it doesn't matter what the activity is if you're using yourself well and optimally, aligned with your purpose. And the fourth pillar is spirit. Are you bringing creative spirit into your interactions online? Are you bringing your creative spirit and your heart full of love into your teaching, even though it's online? even though you're performing online, even if you're collaborating with headphones on and it's not in real time, are you bringing your creative spirit and your joy and your love into that? Because if you are, then you're not going to get frustrated. You just won't, because it's just a different way of doing things. Yes, but we're so focused on what we've lost and what we can't do that we aren't taking full advantage of the amazing potential of being able to be a musician online. We are so lucky. It's ridiculous that we can do this, that the technology exists. Now, if the pandemic had hit like 30 years ago, now that would have been really, 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 really hard for musicians because no internet, right? But now we have this possibility to connect, and the technology is to the point where the latency issues, the timing being off in different locations over space or distance, it's all but eliminated. There's hardly even a latency issue anymore if you know which software to use, which is amazing. Okay, so the other thing is, my fifth pillar is artistry. Well, have you ever considered that learning how to use technology and bring your creative spirit and your joy and your love and your purpose to what you're doing online could be an art? Have you thought about how walking down the street with grace and consciousness is artistic? It could be if you want it to be. How about washing the dishes? You could turn it into an art. Think of the Japanese tea ceremony. That's a perfect example. It's just about pouring tea into a cup. Big deal, right? But it is an art form. It is so beautiful. Can you make your whole life like that, even if you're online? Yes, you can. But you probably need to know how. Because again, you weren't designed to do this or to know how to do this naturally. Nobody was. I was so nervous for the first live video that I did, and now it's fun. I love it. So I would love to get your feedback now. I'm about to give you the bonus 5 tips here that I promised you at the beginning. These are the tips that are going to help you actually practically sit at a computer and deal with being online with more ease. Just quick, super practical things. Before that, though, I do really want to invite you to be commenting here. Would love to get your feedback and know what you're thinking about this. Does this ring true? I'm seeing a few hellos over here. I'm not sure if they're all coming in. This is the first time I'm simulcasting to 2 places on Facebook and YouTube all at the same time. It's just very exciting, but I don't know if it's actually working. So if you could just take a moment really quickly and type into the comments what platform you're on. Can you tell me I'm in your group, I'm on your Facebook timeline, or I'm on YouTube? I would just be so grateful if you could tell me where you're watching this video. And again, your feedback on the content so that we can have a conversation is also always more than welcome. I want to hear what's happening for you. Is this all making sense so far? Has any of it kind of piqued your curiosity? Just give me a yes or a no. That would be great if you could just tell me if yes, this is helpful, or even just the letter Y if you're on your phone, or N. I don't care. Actually, if it were an N, you'd probably be long gone. But oh, great. Here I'm seeing somebody's on Facebook with a thumbs up and a heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to move on and just give you 5 quick tips for how to be at a computer with more ease. The first one is so important. Pause before you take action. Just pause for a moment and connect to your purpose. And thank you. I'm seeing more comments. Oh, thank you so much for telling me where you are. Somebody's on a cell phone on my Facebook page. Oh, great. And somebody says, I love these ideas and they apply to many activities. music and otherwise. I'm taking notes in my journal. Thank you. Great. Definitely helpful. Wonderful. Thank you, Facebook watcher. I can't see who it is. Sorry, but I did put you up here. So thank you for your comments. Keep them coming. I want to hear more about what's going on for everybody here. Is using the internet hard? Is it frustrating? It can be not frustrating at all. It can be joyous and fun. And I want to tell you more about that. So 5 tips. The first one is to pause and connect to your purpose before you begin. Put a Post-it on your computer. Put a little, one of those apps like that have a sticky thing. I have one for my phone where you can just put a sticky on the top of the phone. So with a little note, just put a little note or a Post-it or something that says pause and connect to your deepest purpose in your heart. If you do that before you begin, you're going to optimize your chances for being more present longer than you would have otherwise, for sure. And you might even see the Post-it again and be reminded to reconnect to your purpose. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, I alluded to earlier. You want to allow your eyes to be free. If you've noticed while I was talking today, there are times when I look around, right? You don't have to be glued to the screen. It's just normal. It's natural. It doesn't even look strange when people look away. So if you're in a Zoom meeting, for instance, if you're teaching a student, you don't have to be glued onto them like a hawk the whole time that you're with them. In fact, it'll take the pressure off of your student a little bit if you're more laid back, if you're farther back, you're not leaning forward like this. That feels bad when I do that, doesn't it? If I'm like this, you don't want to be around me if I'm doing that to you. So your students don't want to be around you as much when you're doing that either. Give them some space, back off a little bit, give yourself some space between you and the computer, let your eyes look around, and just live a normal life that happens to have a screen in front of you. Okay, so that's the second tip. It's about your eyes, letting them move and be free. Okay. Third tip is know how to use your chair. It's best if you don't have a chair that angles backwards because your butt is going to slide back and it doesn't help. Okay. I could do a whole class, and I have actually done whole classes on ergonomics and mechanics of body posture and all that. But quick tips for the chair: have a flat seat if at all possible. If not possible, sit at the very, 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 very front, the very edge, as far as you possibly can towards the front without falling off, so that your sit bones, those two little bony protuberances at the bottom of your butt, are balanced at the very tip of your chair. Or you can be way back as far as you possibly can be with your sacrum like right up at the very back corner of your chair, and use the backrest. In fact, using the backrest with a computer in front of you is a very good idea because the backrest can remind you to have some space. If you're connected to the back of a chair, it'll be easier to have that space between you and the screen, which is a very good idea. Fourth tip, take lots of breaks. I have an app on my phone that when I sit down to work, this is not what I'm teaching. I don't obviously do that when I'm teaching, but I spend many hours on the computer every day, and I have an app that reminds me to get up and take a break after 25 minutes. And I have a lovely app where I can change the amount of time, but I usually go for 25 minutes and then 3 to 5 minutes of a break just to get up and stretch, move around, reconnect to my purpose, and then sit down again. And then I'll take a longer break, maybe after 2 sessions like that, 2 or 3. I actually love my work so much. It's hard for me to remember to get up and not be on the computer for a long time because I like it, right? I feel better when I get up because I get excited about my work, whether it's online or elsewhere. And then the 5th tip is possibly going to be the most useful tip for you. If you don't know what the cycle is, go, when you're done with this, go run online to find my video on YouTube called The Cycle. You can look it up with my name and The Cycle, Jennifer Roig-Francolí, The Cycle, and it'll pop up. Do my 5-day challenge. It's free. It's going to help you integrate your thinking with your body, your purpose, and ease, so that you're going to be able to, it's actually called Relax Everything in Less Than 3 Minutes or something. That's the name of the video. So find that, and in the description, there's a link to join my 5-day free challenge. Do that and let me know how it goes. Now, if you want to go deeper into all of these things, this is like, I'm giving you the tiniest little bit, but if you want to learn how to love your work, even if it's online, and be excited and successful with what you do, even during the worst year in history for musicians, you can do this. Talk to me. Just send me a message, send me an email, private message me on Facebook, and ask me about possibilities, right? You could work with me as a private client. That's always a possibility. It's by application. So you would just reach out to me and I'll send you a questionnaire, see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Usually I work with professional musicians who are serious about living a healthy, balanced life and having an abundantly successful career. I also work with amateurs in other ways. So if you're a beginner, that's fine. You want to learn more, contact me. Okay. I'm seeing David Fife here. I saw somebody's name. How lovely. Hi, David. Thank you for being here. David says, I didn't realize how much I needed your help. I enjoy playing so much more after discovering your channel. I'm so happy to hear that, David. Thank you for telling me. That's why I'm here, because I really love what I do. And I'm seeing so many musicians suffering right now. And there's so much frustration and kind of bitterness and resentment that we can't be in person and that we can't make music the way we're used to. But if we think outside the box for a moment, why do we make music? It's so that we can connect from the heart with other people. There is nothing stopping us from doing that through a screen. I'm living proof for myself. I believe this, I live it, and hopefully it's coming through. When I play my violin, I really don't care. I mean, it's different, sure. If I'm playing in person for people, it's a very different energy. You can't deny that. However, there's still an energy of connecting to people through a screen, and I've learned that that is actually true. And so, yeah, there's so much more that we can talk about on this. So if you're not a member of my Facebook group, everybody out there, I can't say who's there except for David. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're. Oh, I see. It's because you're on YouTube. Ah, that's why I can see your name. Now I get it. It's the first time I'm on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So David says, I have a long-standing left shoulder injury. I don't even feel it now with your help. Oh gosh, David, I really want to connect to you afterwards, and I want to hear about your process. If you would be willing to share that with me, because we haven't had connection personally. But if my videos are helping you without even having that connection, I really want to know, like, what are you doing? What are you watching? If you would be so kind and send me a message, that would be really helpful for me to know what's hitting home for you and how you're benefiting from the channel. I'm so happy to hear this. I can't tell you. Thank you for mentioning that. So I think that, oh yes, I was going to say, if there's anybody out there who is not a member of my Facebook group, if you're on YouTube, for instance, I totally get it if you don't want to be on Facebook. This is why I'm also on YouTube now, so you don't have to be on Facebook. But I have a wonderful community on Facebook. So if that's all you did, you are so welcome to join. It's called The Musician's Advantage. I changed the name a while back. And then I also, of course, do private coaching, and I have a group of musicians from all over the world, and we meet twice a week with live group classes. So if anybody is interested in that, please join and get in touch with me to learn more. Thank you. Thanks for being here, and enjoy what you're doing. Connect to your heart, share it, whether it's in person or online. And being online, the computer's not your enemy. Use it. It's a tool to help you connect with people. Be grateful for it. Thanks. Take care. Lots of love to everybody out there. Bye-bye.